So thanks again for taking a few moments out of your lives to join me here today on Austin's American Flyer. I wanted to spend a few minutes today talking about what happens if you're fortunate enough to get an entire flyer set. What are a few things that you want to look for if possible? What are some things to watch out for? What are some things that increase value? And I hope you'll enjoy some of the experience that I share with you today. The other thing I would like to just mention is those of us that enjoy Flyer, which is an antique, for the most part, especially if we're getting the original Gilbert American Flyer, are getting the second, third, fourth hand. And so in a sense, we're getting a heritage passed on to us. And while I can't speak for others, for me, there's a sense of awe, a sense of respect, a sense of I'm able to carry on this wonderful asset and try to keep it in good shape and preserved for future generations. And so there's a sense of this is just a season that I have the privilege of taking care of this, and with the hopes of others down the road enjoying it as much as my predecessors and as much as I certainly will. So just so you know, that's kind of the mindset behind some of this as I share it with you. There was a time when print media was a preferred method of communication and marketing, and train companies, like any other for-profit company out there, strove to trigger the imagination of their customers. And one of the ways that American Flyer did this was with brochures. Sometimes brochures are very simple, one-page flyer type bits of information. Other times they were catalogs. And in front of us is an American Flyer catalog that comes from 1953. And this catalog contained some of the promotional ideas, some of the reasons Flyer thought that people would want their toys. And in addition to some of the pros, if you will, of buying their products over other toy manufacturers, especially Train, they went on to list specific sets. And some of the resource materials now we'll call these catalog sets. And at a certain point in time, American Flyer started including these catalogs with their flyer sets. So in addition to finding your set listed in a given catalog, it also had options for other sets you could buy as well as accessories. So it was kind of a genius way to whet the appetite of customers out there to see, oh, wow, this is what I have, and oh, this is what I could have. So the reason I thought I would show this booklet today was because I had the privilege recently of taking over a set called the Pacemaker. This set included a fair number of cars, included a 326 Hudson, and I found a gentleman whose father had purchased this set, and he had played with it as a child, and he just wasn't interested in keeping it anymore. He'd had it in a box for 25 plus years, and so I agreed to take a look at it, and ended up purchasing it from him. So today's video is about what happens when you are able to get an entire flyer set. What are some things to look at, look for? What are some pros and cons to that? And as always, thanks a lot for stopping by, and I hope you find today's video interesting and helpful. So as you saw me pan across this table of flyer things, you probably noticed a couple things. Hopefully one of them was that there were boxes with pretty much everything on the table. And if you're looking to collect, and if you're looking to have the highest possible value in a set, one of the things that helps a lot is to have the original boxes. Now in this particular case, there are boxes present for all of the cars. There's a box present for the Transformer, which actually was an additional add-on piece, as well as literature for the Transformer, and we have the booklet, the sales booklet, as well as the manual. So paperwork is here. And then this particular engine had an air chime with it, which meant American Flyer called it an air chime, but it was more of a buzz. But it has the air chime controller and the all-important, I like to call these a vacuum tube. They're not, but they do give that kind of impression. It has this component, and I've been told that if you shake them a little bit and they rattle, they may need some repairs on the inside. This one doesn't seem to need any repairs. So that's a strong point, that the air chime controller and this part are here. In addition, there is an envelope that has the Flyer rail joiners in it. There's a full set of these. Again, there are all these small parts that if you get them with the set, it just helps with the value. There's the connector for the wiring. And in addition to that, there were two plasticville structures, a switching tower and a gantry. The gantry is a little bit broken up. There's one part that's missing. However, it still adds a little bit of value to the set. In addition to that, the track is all here as well. One of the things that I've not seen in any of the Flyer that I have personally is top of the line condition. So here we have one example of that. This is a Katie car, and as I examine this car, I noticed that the brake wheel is here. That doesn't always happen. I noticed that the latches for the doors are here. Those tend to go missing on both sides. When I rolled it over, I noticed that there is no rust on the frame. Everything about this car is remarkable. I don't know how well this comes across, but it still has a sheen to it. There are no scratches. There is no play wear. There are no broken corners. And this is true of every single car in the set. What I also found to be remarkable is when I picked up the lit caboose, as well as there's a generator car with a light on it, and I turned it over and looked at the wheels on the underside. They are very clean and free of corrosion. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they weren't clean, but this is very unusual. The pickup wheels on the tender of the engine, same way. No corrosion. Typically I find these and they're very, very dirty. With tenders, oftentimes you'll see a corner of the roof broken, or maybe a step missing. Again, this caboose has all corners intact, all steps present, and again, no play wear, no scratches. The lettering on this is crisp. Here is one of the two depressed center cars. What's remarkable about these is both ends have the raised brake wheel. And again, as I mentioned earlier, I don't know how well this will come through, but if you look on the underside where they have the pickup for the light, these wheels are clean. And when I look at the car itself, the lettering is crisp. It's still shiny. Nothing is broken. Steps, corners, nothing is broken. So what this tells me is this set probably got very little play time, and it was kept either in its boxes or kept somewhere out of reach of little hands. I don't know what, but it is in remarkable shape. The one issue is the engine. The Hudson style engines had a front section that you would screw or unscrew from the engine that contained the leading trucks, and then oftentimes the cowcatcher section was a separate piece. In this particular case, as you can see right here, where this attached to the underside of the boiler, there was a screw hole, and that little section, for reasons I don't know why, is broken away. When I look at the rest of the engine, it is almost perfect. There are just a couple little places where there's some paint that's missing, but they're very small. Again, there's basically no play wear. The missing paint tends to look like something where maybe it was in the packaging and the packaging got rubbed a little hard, and all the steps are there. It's just remarkable. I have not yet run this engine. It's on my to-do list, and of course I want to check out the air chime and see if that works or not. But aside from this repair, I think we'll be in good shape, and looking forward to seeing this set in action. So please stay tuned. In a future episode, I will take a look at the engine repair. This will be, so please stay tuned. In the future, we'll do another episode on repairing die-cast and how we have tried and hopefully successfully to repair a void and add a place where we can thread the screws back in to hold the front of the steam engine, the forward trucks, and the steam chest together. And in the meantime, enjoy your American Flyer. And as always, if you have any comments or thoughts, please leave those at the bottom of this video. And one other thing I thought I should mention is, I don't know what I was going to mention. I just don't, I can't remember. Must not have been very important.